Oh, probably quite a bit.
20 years, maybe?
Did you hit 50?
54.
Okay. Well, I got about 18 on you.
There you go. So I found your Mary Morrissey website and read your bio. Fascinating, man.
Well, did you get on to Fantastic Leadership? That's my own website.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I went to your LinkedIn and I found a website on there, but that's the only one I found so far. So what's the other website?
It should be fantasticleadership.com.
Okay. I will.
And well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
The Vietnam radio must have been fascinating.
Say that again, please.
The radio that you did in Vietnam and Thailand and the Philippines, that must have been quite something.
Well, as somebody told me at another seminar, I can legitimately claim that I am an international speaker.
You absolutely can. No kidding about that one.
Well, somewhere in that neighborhood. But yeah, so yeah, it's been well, it's very, very interesting. First of all, this young man is called a donut peach. How about that one?
Would you look at that?
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Wow, it is.
And like I tell people, this isn't from, it's not from Dunkin' Donuts, and it doesn't have any icing. And then this is from a brand new tree. This is a yellow skin. The donuts are white flesh.
Uh-huh.
And the interesting thing about the donut peaches, I call them the caviar of peaches. And my former sales manager and copywriting queen, she bought the tree for me. And as a surprise, about 5 years ago, this showed up in the spring, and I thought, I didn't order any tree. I didn't want any more work. So I called her. Her name's Maggie. I go, Mag, you know anything? Oh, yeah. That's a Christmas present. You know. So anyhow, what I wanted to share with you, Jonathan, and I know you know a little bit about your background in regards to the fact that you know you had the neck injury or back or whatever.
Wear my scar with pride.
Okay, there you go. Right. Well, I've had six-pack injuries, six-pack surgeries.
Wow.
And I beat cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. And all of that happened in the last 8.5 years.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. But I want to share this poignancy with you. It just happened 15 minutes ago. So I'm blessed to live in this hamlet of about 800 people. In fact, I live on part of the family farm. It's been in our family for over 125 years. And I ran into a neighbor whose wife was the postmaster for several decades. And in our conversation, I didn't know this, but his wife's been in the nursing home for over a year, has the beginning of Alzheimer's, blah, 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 blah. And he's in the conversation, he's going to be 83 tomorrow. And you can see the wear and tear, Jonathan. I think his wife has not been in good health for at least the last 5 years.
Wow.
Okay. And you know, I said to him, I mean, you know, obviously I've known him for 20, maybe 30 years. I just, you know, you just lose track. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like through the door. And so my radio name, my on-air name was Jolly Jim.
Jolly Jim. Yes, I read about that.
Everybody around here, the people that know me well just call me Jolly. It's just like Dolly, as important, you know. Only I don't quite have the same amount of assets that she does, but you know, you can't have everything. Yeah.
You can buy everything though.
There you go. Well, anyhow, I happen to like my gender.
I'm with you on that one.
So I said to him, would you please say hello to Bonnie for me? She said, yeah, I don't know if she'll remember you. So I told him a story about my cousin who passed away about 2 years ago. And I think it was Easter 3 years ago. I was in Florida. He was in a nursing home. We went to get him, and his daughter was saying, this is your cousin, Jim. Yeah. She said, this is Jolly Jim. He goes, oh, old Jolly. I said, did you have to put the old on there? You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess the point I'm just sharing this with you, and, you know, you had a rather deep valley yourself. And maybe just something, you know, to share with your younger clients, because I've noticed that so many people either don't realize or do not choose to act and live to understand that the ride ends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, the ride ends. And so it's a somewhat of a small I shouldn't say small, it is a concern of mine. I like to look for solutions. I don't like to complain. I like to look for solutions. And unfortunately, in the States, we've had a tremendous deterioration of the family in the last, I'll be kind to say 20 years. It's been 30.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And we reap what we sow.
Yep.
You sow thistles, you get thistles.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Reagan.
Whoa. Yeah. A long time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to get your perspective from a Canadian, you know?
Well, British and Canadian. Yeah. Yeah. Both big allies.
Yeah. You know, so much for philosophy, young man.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
What I would like is if you would please fill me in on the services that you do and some of your general cost points on those services. And then I'm going to have a couple other questions, and however, blah, 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 we'll rock and roll from there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, thank you for asking and making the time to chat, because you certainly made an impression on me at Lisa's event each day with your very colorful outfits. Can't be missed in those, man. And as soon as you got to the mic and I heard the voice, it's like, wow, there's a man who's learned how to train his vocal cords. And reading a little bit more about you today and reading your history and then the radio stations that you bought or created even. And
yeah, I built them. I built them from ground zero.
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I was brought up on an island called the Isle of Man, which you probably never heard of. Very, very small, but Manx Radio. Manx is the what we call ourselves, Americans, so Manx. And Manx Radio was the lifeline of the island. I mean, just no question. I remember my grandmother, who's been past, 30 years or so now. Every morning, she had a Roberts radio and pressed the button, and it was on all day. She was registered blind, never watched the TV. Well, she could watch the TV a little bit, but not really see what was going on. But that radio, it was everything to her. And when I was reading what you were saying, it's like, okay, I get it. Yeah. It totally took me back to how much radio meant to so many people. And
So it's so interesting, Jonathan, because I sold my last station 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And my first station, it'll be 44 years in September. That I was only 27 when I put my first one on the air.
Wow.
And I went into broadcasting at 18, and I knew nothing about broadcasting. So in 9 years, I went from zero to being a station owner and operator.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing is, people still talk. They talk about the impression we made on their lives. To me, it doesn't matter what the medium is. You're doing this. I get the charge. I get the branding deal. We make stuff happen. Great. I'm going, this dude's got his shit together. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And so basically, this is where I'm at, Jonathan. This is very simple.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just cut this right to the bone. All right. My challenge, my kink in the hose,
Mm-hmm.
as my good friend Dr. Joe says. Dr. Joe is the acupuncturist. Okay. He calls it the kink in the hose. It's a matter of understanding all the not only social media, but the websites, the funnels, the bundles, the funnels, blah, 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 blah.
Understood. Yeah, totally get it. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm recording this, so I'll send you a copy of this too.
Okay.
All right, so you should see my screen about now.
Right.
So here's what I typically do is I put somebody's name into Facebook first and foremost. So I found you here.
Right.
And then it says that you're founder at Hepco Communications. So when I click on that, it's a dead link. There's nothing there.
Right. Because Hepco Communications is the cover of Fantastic Voice. That's a corporate link. That was my previous corporate entity.
Okay. So in Facebook, what that should do is it should take me to a Facebook business page,
Which I have one.
Okay. Which is what?
Fantastic Voice and Leadership Training, something like that.
Spell Fantastic Voice. Let's see what comes up. Pages. Fantastic. Here we go. Okay. So I didn't know this page existed. So what we need to do is we need to go back into your Facebook page in the About section under Employment and delete the Hepco and just type this page in, Fantastic Voice Training, and that'll give people a link to the work that you do. So that would be the first thing I'd look at. Okay, great. So
while you're typing there, you want to type that in for me?
I can't do that. I'd need to log in as you to do that, but if you send me the login, we can absolutely fix that for you straight away.
Okay.
So
okay, good. You keep going. This is thank you. This piece of information that you gave me, and in so many ways, was tremendously valuable. Thank you.
Awesome. And as I've recorded this, so we can go through it step by step.
Okay.
So typically, once I've found somebody on Facebook, my next place that I go to look at them is in LinkedIn. So I put your name into LinkedIn. I found you here. I sent you a request this morning. And what this is able to do is it gives me a little bit of detail about what I can find about you. Not too much here, but what was, and all of these boxes here could actually be much expanded upon, especially what you're doing now, because
right.
All the businesses now, I don't know if you know, but LinkedIn got bought out by Microsoft.
No, I didn't know.
Microsoft's goal with LinkedIn is to keep people in LinkedIn, not to leave and go to Google or a website. But so they actually virtually let you create a second website built on LinkedIn just by one click away from here, which we can do. But what was useful to me was in your contact details, you have a website here, which is an older one, but it took me to the Mary Morrissey site. Okay. And out of here, when I got to the About Me, that's when I started to find all the gold. Right down in this page here. Yeah. So, and it's well written. So this, we've already got a head start.
We spent a lot of time on this.
Oh, I can tell.
And just give me 15 seconds to give you a little more background.
Yeah.
What happened on this is I started on the life coaching thing just over 2 years ago. And November last year, I'm at another conference and trying to learn the internet marketing.
Yes.
And in that conference, in one of the workshops, one of the one of the ladies said, "You're missing the boat, dude. Everybody wants your voice. You need to either be a voiceover artist, a voice coach, a blah, 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 blah." And I was able to take a survey 20 minutes later, about 150 people. There were no voice coaches there. And 80% of them said they could either use a voice coach or whatever. So, I'm not stupid. Okay? Because there are so many life coaches of different brands, as you well know. You get that. You probably have a lot of clients that are some kind of a life coach.
Yes, we do.
So it's been a 180-degree spin. So go. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to give you that peek.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And we all want to sort of go into our zone of genius, right? So that's, and if you can, but I mean, the same with me with social media. I mean, people come to me to find help in getting online marketing. What they really need is they need a coach to help them get over themselves and get themselves out there. Because sure, it's a tool, and yes, you need to learn how to use the tool. Right. But at that point, that's when the learning really starts. It's like, well, Facebook live video and writing blog posts, it's like, I wouldn't know what to say. I wouldn't have the confidence to go up in front of a screen. Why would someone want to listen to me?
I don't have any of that. Those are none of my issues.
No, I know, but that's typically what comes my way.
My issues are where are the buttons? Okay. And I guess my other thing for me, and obviously, I can learn anything because I've learned a lot. Yes. That's just my belief. Yes. All I need is a 3x5 card with however many steps, 3 steps or 8 steps. And after you repeat them 10 times, I can throw the card away.
And I can do that. Okay. Yeah. So here's where I show up. So the homepage of our website is simply to get people to go deeper. So you've heard the name of my company, picture of me, the word social behind it, and the big words, we get it. We're on a mission to help entrepreneurs and small businesses overcome their marketing challenges and embrace social media, and to empower them in sharing their stories with great enthusiasm and passion for maximum effect. That's my mission statement as a company. And then in true Lisa fashion, you want to give something away. This juicy freebie. Yeah. My juicy freebie is what I call the jumpstart guide. Like, your engine needs a jumpstart just to get going. There's 8 pages of tips in there that'll just get you going. And then I get people's email, and we get 250, 300 emails a month, just from this. Yeah. And so that's what, and then the idea of a nav and the website is to show people what you do. So in terms of our services, like you mentioned, first and foremost, we help people with, let me go back 1 second here. I need to click on that. I may have a few too many tabs open this morning. Website design. Website design is very misunderstood by a lot of people. They build a website and went, yeah, but I'm not getting any traffic. And that's because it's an e-brochure. It's not really a website that works. So we put a lot of SEO, or search engine optimization, into a website. With that comes branding, so that, like you've got the Fantastik with the rainbow. Sometimes people need even more help, so we need to spend some money on AdWords. And other people come along and say, you know what, I get it, I like it, I have no intention of doing it, I have no skill of doing it, but I know what I want to say, and I just need someone to do it for me. So they're the 5 services that we offer, and that's pretty much where I was when I joined Lisa's company. But what I've done in the last 3 years is 3.5 years is learned to leverage. So all of these courses now, I created out of being in Lisa's mastermind. And the first one you know about was the Social Media Bootcamp, which we have another one coming up in the fall. Then what I do, and this is probably music, so this is the Social Media Bootcamp that's coming up, the next one, and we call it Back to School for Business. So the messaging is all into that one. The next program we do, which is interesting, because you'll get it straight away, is we call it Building Public Relationships. So how do you get your media, instead of it just being social, but turn it into actual media that works for you? And we do that through creating content, and we call it power content, where we have an 8-week course where we teach people how to write blogs, and we talked about this a little bit in the course. And then some people join us for a mastermind, and that they're in a small group. They just want to be part of a small group and learn as a group. And other people come to us and say, you know what, I've been in plenty of groups. I enjoy them, but it doesn't really get anything done for me. I need help one-on-one. And that's where we take this group into the mix, which we call VIP Titanium, which obviously is named after my neck here. And this is our sort of full meal deal program, and you may or may not need all of this or any of this, but we call it the next evolution. So what we say to people is, you're now bigger than your brand. You've done well, you've made money, you've done well with other marketing in the past, but now it's not serving you. So in that 5-step system, we look at positioning people, creating a brand that really stands out, having a way of engaging with people through a full project, creating a website that really authentically works and makes it very different to other people. So what we want to be able to do is bring people to a website that they're proud of, it's like bringing you home to the peach farm. I mean, you want to show people your orchard because it's a thing of beauty, and so should your website be. So I go through the problem solution piece of taking people of, where they're at and taking them online. So first thing we do is work on story, and it looks like you've already worked on your story a lot, which is fantastic, because that's a piece that we always start with is documenting that story. And then we often put a timeline to that story. So this is a Dutch family that we work with. They've had a nursing home since 1987. They now have 8 multi-million, hundreds of $1 million of income coming in. I wouldn't say profit, but and we documented that story back from 87 right through there. I did them a PowerPoint. So why would people stay at their home rather than another home? And then we create the brand that goes with that story. This was Chamber of Commerce at one Chamber of Commerce in Canada back from 1893, which was their logo back then, to today. So branding is very important because you have milliseconds to make an impression on social media these days. Right. And then once we have those two pieces, what we do is we put on the white gloves, if you like, and we go through every single step of creating a strategy and a plan and a very unique website that converts. And that's where the content piece comes in. And Lindsay and Susan, who you've met through the course, come alongside. So Lindsay's the writer who's got a degree in journalism. Susan's my PR person who's a degree in PR. I have a degree in the School of Life. And that's not quite true. I do have a degree in divinity, but that was not really work related. It was fun though. Then we make video, PDFs, custom graphics. And then it's the point that people just love their website. And when people get to the website and they see how it's all, this is what it looks like, what we call the wireframe. It's a website that used to look like, and this is a website that looks like now. And obviously testimonials and so on. So that's the full summary of what I do as a company. Plus I do a lot of speaking now, as you know, and I either get paid to speak or I get the opportunity to sell when I speak, which I much prefer because I can make a lot more selling than I can being paid to speak, which is a perfect model for both of us. Right. So all of those pieces are there. As little as $9.97, which was the social media bootcamp. $19.97 would get you the next course, which is the content marketing course, which is writing all of the blogs. We do a bundle at that point where you can do all 4 courses that we do throughout the year for $5,000 bundle price. And then after that, then we go into the titanium package, which is what some people just want us to build a website. They have the photography, they have the content. And so with branding and a website together without any of the training, if you like, or the work, and it depends on the size of website and who we're trying to reach and how much content we have to write compared to how much you can provide. It's typically between 5,500 and 10,000, depending on what it looks like. So to give you an idea, let me give you an idea of a couple of websites. Just so
okay, so just give me a backup. The last setup of your range of the 5,500 to 10,000. What are the services that you render?
So that's a website with branding.
Okay.
So to give you an idea, this is a lady friend of ours who I met through Sassy, who, funny enough, is a Mary Morrissey coach as well. and she's from Colombia. So I have very much a Latino, strong accent. And her reason of joining Sassy was to work with Latino women and have fun and help them not get the minimal jobs that she came from Colombia with a major degree and couldn't even get a job. She was waiting on tables. She eventually got into the IT industry, worked very, very high for an insurance company, recently got laid off, put some of the layoff money into Sassy. And so we came up with Femalocity, which is female and velocity. And we created this site for her, and she loves life. She does a lot of good, fun things. She believes that women should look at themselves and kiss themselves on both cheek every morning to sort of tell people how beautiful they are. And so that's what she said, I love you, you're beautiful. And then we created 4 programs for her, which was a Dream Builder program, the Vision Workshop, Staying Alive, and the Self-Love. So just the Dream Builder is the one with Mary Morrissey, that she already had built. And so Liliana and I, she came on the full meal deal about 2 years ago. We built her brand, built a website. She went through all of our courses, and away she went. So that's the kind of thing it looks like. This was if we were to just have done the website and the branding, she'd have been into us for about 10,000. But she did all the courses as well, and that took her to. So we worked with her for, what did we do? Probably about 8 months, and we did 2 VIP days together, actually, at a house in California, because it was really so different for her to start things off. So that took her to about 25. The one I showed you, the full meal deal with the video and the graphics and everything, we do that we actually do that at 45 now, and that's our best-selling program.
Wow.
So 7 of those this year already, and I've got three in negotiation already. So anywhere from 5 to 45 is what we sell, and then you just cherry pick, no pun intended, the pieces that you want.
Yeah, right. So when you're looking at the one where you did the website and the branding, give me a little more definition of the extensiveness of the branding. I'm not quite following that. Okay,
so there's a lot of noise on social media, and you want someone to arrive on one of your posts and go, "That's fantastic," right there. That's a fantastic post in terms of the brand. So the color, because you've got that blue, you've got the font, you've got the rainbow. I'm assuming they're all elements of the logo that you've used so far. When I see some
right, yeah. They're on my site. I use my logo is there, blah blah blah. And that double rainbow is a photo I took off my balcony, and that's the mountain at my house. And it won the blue ribbon this 2 years ago, the same day I was getting my first coaching certification from Mary. So wonderful. When I came back, that was just more than, I said, this is more than an omen. And basically that's, so that is the third re-engineered aspect of that card. And I'm going to do a fourth one because of the switch of where I'm going with the voice training, because I've now come up with the four fantastic C's of confident, comprehensive, and consistent communicating. And the four fantastic C's are allowing our clients to discover how to communicate with confidence, clarity, control, and comfort, which enables them to speak to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And I'm sure as you have seen, I'm at these different conferences, and the interesting thing is that the vast majority of people have never recorded themselves. They have no idea how absolutely horrible they are. Okay. And I mean, and the interesting thing about my story, the first time I heard my voice recorded, Jonathan, was in diction class at broadcasting school. And I said to the professor, I couldn't figure out there were 5 buttons on the reel-to-reel machine. I called him over and I said, there's something wrong here. Da-da-da-da. He says, give me them headphones. That's you. And I started to cry right away because I had this very, very deep German accent. And I said to him, look, I'm the first guy from my high school. I'm the third guy from my entire region, third person from the entire region, which takes in like 6 or 7 school districts that has ever done this. I mean, people think that I'm the stupidest guy going on. All right. I said, I cannot fail. He says, you won't. Just follow my instructions. And so he took me under his wing. I went to his house on the weekends, blah, 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 blah. So I know, this aspect of nobody, the vast majority of people, they haven't taken any time. They do. My link is the same as your link on the social side. You're on the social side, of putting all that stuff together. But if they're doing videos and they sound like crap, there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
And if there's, and that's why so many, the stambling and the stumbling and blah, 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 blah.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I loved what you said on LinkedIn a couple of posts ago about not getting on stage with any notes and how people hide behind them. And if you're the expert, own it. And
Right.
I'm 100%. I rehearsed like crazy. I finished my presentation at SASE to within 15 seconds of my allotted time. And they just, even the sage people at the back, I went,
Yeah.
Yep, I rehearsed a lot.
Well, and the thing is, you talked about the suits. That just came about in March. I'm in Florida. I winter in Florida. And I'm driving by this liquidation place, okay? And I try to listen to the still small voice. I was going, I drove by to go to play golf.
Yeah.
So about the 4th time, so you ought to stop in there. I said, okay, I'm stopping. And that's when I ran into these suits. And so I looked at them, so I went back, and then I looked at my car and I said, well, gee, this ties in with the rainbow when it comes to the branding deal.
Yes, yeah.
And, the point came that I knew that if I was going to do it, I had to own it. All right. And so I was at a conference 10 days before I met you at the SASE. I was at another one up in La Jolla. It was very interesting because it was all about stage work, owning the stage. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I met this one, and by the second day, the women were going, wow. Yeah. Now they were what are you wearing the next day? I said, you have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one guy is a psych from Chicago, and we were shooting the bees, and he says, yeah, and at that day I was wearing my red suit. So what do you think? He said, I think it's great on you because you own it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I couldn't do this.
No, me neither.
You definitely own it.
Yeah.
And so that's the deal. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. If whatever, the Raven, okay, now Raven makes me kind of look like I'm a monk. Okay, her hat and everything, that's her brand.
Yes.
And she owns it.
Yes.
She says.
It's interesting with Raven. She is a different person behind the mic than she is in person.
Oh. But
totally
she was
different.
she was on stage. I'm going like, who is this?
I know. Yeah, I've seen her for a number of years, and in person, I never was impressed. And yet online, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like strange, isn't it?
Talk about the switch.
Yeah, it's almost like she hides under that hat, in person.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
So anyhow, back to the branding setup.
Yes. So that's how we work. And I mean, we want to create something that people just instantly in their brain, they know it's you. So that's the brand, and we create a style guide. So if you're ever speaking and
I'm not sure I understand.
and you send something ahead of time, they get a style guide, your fonts, the pictures, the colors and stuff, so people can always work with that. So we create that as a style guide, and that goes.
What does that mean? What does star guide mean?
Style.
Oh, style.
Style. So it's a 2-pager, and basically it's the 3 CMYK colors that your primary colors of your website, the name of the font, the size of the font. We do your logo in black on white, white on black, full color, vector file for overlay. So we create that as a style guide with the branding, and all of that. Obviously.
So in other words, that style guide is my property that I can, if I
100%.
no matter who else I hire or whatever, it's there.
Absolutely right. Yep. So we build that for you. And then with that, same with the website. We build a website. We use a program called WordPress, which is very editable from the back end. And again, 100% of that is your property. We can update it for you on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, or we can just hand it back. It needs hosting, and we like to host our own websites so that we can keep them up to date, because many, many weird things happen on the internet these days, as you know.
Yeah.
So we host the website. And then it's really down to anybody can build you a website. You want a website that works. You want a website that gets you found. And the only way to get found online, because it's so crowded, is to create content that converts. So YouTube video, Facebook video, blogs that get shared on your LinkedIn profile, guest blogs that you can write for other speakers, and the more podcasts that you can get on and the more we can share you, the better. But there's no question you would be having your own podcast, as part of the strategy as well, I'm sure.
Well, I'm already doing my first podcast will be up by the end of September.
Yep, I'm not surprised because you bought Steve's program, right?
Right. Yeah, I went to after Palm Springs, I went to San Diego.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
I'm still in Palm Springs.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm here till August 12th.
Oh, okay. Wow. How's the heat?
It's better today. Truthfully, I don't mind the heat. I enjoy it. I acclimatize very quickly, and we normally come here for about a month this time of year, because typically, we live in British Columbia, we get a lot of forest fires. And this time last year, you couldn't open the doors of the house. I mean, it was acrid, and we've had a much wetter season than normal, and there are very few forest fires. But the last few years in a row, it's been terrible. So we always, Debbie's parents, my wife's parents, come and stay with us for 6 weeks every summer from England, and we always try and bless them with a vacation somewhere other than just staying with us. So we rented 2 condos here at a golf course in Palm Springs, which is so cheap at this time of year because nobody's here. So Debbie and I will have done 4 weeks. So we arrived here the day before Sassy, and we're here till August 12th. So
beautiful.
And then we have, I think my wife's about to go by, and Debbie's parents are in the next unit now. 2 of our daughters just left yesterday. They were here for a week too. So that's why my calendar's a little different, because
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and I was just. This is all facilitated. I've been facilitating my whole life.
Yes.
So I understand if I don't follow up, nothing happens. It's my responsibility to follow up.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And my current campaign is zero tolerance for assumptions, because every time I assume, I get burned.
You know the definition of assume, don't you?
I got it. I've used it a lot.
Yeah. You got it. Me too. Yeah. And so I typically work every morning till about 12:30, and then I try and take the afternoons off, and then I work in the evening.
Yeah.
So branding, and then the website, and then creating the content. And this is where we get into that VIP scenario, because at that point, most people need a lot of help. They can give me the stories, like the story of you on the reel-to-reel there, when you heard your voice for the very first time and you cried. That is a pivotal point in a strategy for a speak to sell talk. And I don't know if you've used that piece, but instantly, as soon as you said it, I had chills on my arms, and it's like, I know exactly what you mean. I always think my voice is deeper than it actually is on tape. And I listen to myself and I think, you speak way too fast and way too high. It's like, well, apparently I do.
But see, the other thing is the willingness to really analyze ourselves factually.
Yes.
I don't know. I was going to use the word critically, but factually is, that's the deal.
Yeah. So for me, my brand is my smile, my positive energy, my showing up, my gray hair that shows people that I've been around a little while. And I'm not the new kid on the block, but I had to learn this by default, and I'm a lifelong learner. So that's really what my brand is. And the make stuff happen is exactly that. Sure, I can sell you a course, but you can see how my 5-week course was delivered live. I don't sell a recorded course. I chose not to, because I like the accountability and I like being able to get to know people. So I do 5 training sessions and 5 virtual coffees deliberately. And then I don't stop. Then there's a number of ones that you've seen coming up for content and stuff, because that's how I think best I can teach people. And then some people like yourself come along and say, okay, get it, know where you're going with this. I need some actual help one-on-one. And what does that look like? And that's the strategy calls that we do all the time. So we can build a website, we can do the branding, we can work with you on content. I can help you write the programs. I can help you create an amazing PowerPoint for your Speak to Sell course, like you saw mine on the stage. We can work on getting your YouTube channel sort of fully optimized with different video that ties into all of your blogs. Sky's the limit in terms of, the sky is not the limit, as Yuri Gregorian sort of said. I love that line. It said, maybe we shouldn't have sent a pilot. Maybe we should have sent a poet. And I love that. Apollo 11, sort of all that 50 years sort of coming back up. This month.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And that's what we tend to do, is we try to help people come up with very timely content that is embedded in your story, but also takes people right up to date with a pivot on your expertise and a desirability from people to want to work with you. So Lisa does PSPS, problem, solution. I've enhanced that to PSD, which is problem, solution, desire. So they have a problem, they see that you could fix it, but they really want to work with you because of the way it comes over. And that desirability really comes out from the content.
That's very good.
Thank you.
The desire part, that is, because the key obviously is having the desire to do that.
Yeah.
That's obviously the setup. Yeah. Okay. So,
it really comes down to the level of how much you want to invest and how quickly you want to get it done, and then how much you can give us, or how much we need to work with you to create, really.
Okay. So, another question here. What is your general time frame when you said you got the 5 biggies going and blah 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 blah, which is
typically 4 to 6 months.
As you well know, at almost 72, I've done this dance.
Yes, I know. Yeah, no. We say we can do it in as little as 120 days. If everything's lined up, typically, from experience, 4 to 6 months for the full meal deal, to have everything up, running, working alongside you, getting the attraction is a realistic time frame.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Some of the pieces are done straight away. Like we could do your LinkedIn profile in a week. We would have your Facebook, fixed within an hour. The branding we'd get done within 3-4 weeks as a style guide, and then starting to create social media posts. Because you've done a few of those already that are on brand. And then even when the website's being built, we can still be creating content through your LinkedIn profile, which is where your ideal audience is anyway. And as I say, Microsoft are doing a very good job at keeping people within LinkedIn, and we know how to do that. So getting articles that you could be writing in your LinkedIn profile would actually be getting you potential leads long before the website's even launched. And then we build that crescendo of the website up. So when it does launch, people are waiting for it. They're excited. And we give them little teasers, and we do very strategic posts like, we're thinking about this, or we're thinking about this. What do you think? You might have seen mine about my Shaving Chronicles logos. It gets people, buying into the process. So all of that process is very deliberate. So as and when it's ready to roll, you've already got people waiting for it. What about email, James? Do you have an email program that you built a list on? Other than Gmail?
Well, I have 16 gazillion lists, 16 gazillion cards.
Yes.
That I haven't got to the point of looking for my VA to get my VA to do that. Yada. Okay. So what is your? Have you heard of the program Kajabi? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it's a learning program. Yeah.
And they have a full website and everything tied together. What experience do you have with that?
So I've worked with 3 Kajabi sites. From a learning platform and the courses, they're excellent. Easy to build, very simple. From a website perspective, they're not bad. They're quite good. From an SEO perspective, they're a 5 out of 10. You don't get everything under one umbrella. I mean, it's designed to be a course with a front-end landing page system, which works fairly well. You can't duplicate it. So let's just say if you're doing a webinar today and you say, I want to do another one in 2 weeks, you can't just take the page, clone it, and send it out again. You have to rebuild it every stinking time, which really frustrates me. Also, Kajabi doesn't link very well with Zoom. The Zoom program that we use for webinar.
It doesn't link well with Zoom.
No, it does not. So Zoom has a webinar program where people register. You get their name, you get their email, you get when they show up, how long they stay, when they leave. If you do interface it through Kajabi, you don't get any of that data. There's just no interface. So, but from a learning course perspective, it's very good. There's a better one. It's called Thinkific, which is what all of Lisa's programs are built on now. I built mine a while back through a program called LearnDash. And LearnDash is beautifully integrated into WordPress. So you saw that the course that I did on the Social Media Bootcamp was seamless with my website. So I use LearnDash. So different ways, and we can walk you through any. I mean, Kajabi is easy to do. If you're doing it by yourself and you want a website that goes with it, and you're a self-starter, it's a good tool. Okay. From a blogging perspective, it's really poor. From an SEO perspective, it gets a C. From a blogging perspective, it gets a D. But from a course perspective, it's probably a B+. Yeah.
Okay. So that you're when you said you do your lead dash deal, your lead dash, huh?
LearnDash.
Oh, LearnDash.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically, that's just. It's the same. It's a different company as to Thinkific.
Yeah, Thinkific is probably. If I was doing it again today, I'd build in Thinkific.
Okay.
I mean, I built mine 3 years ago, and I keep enhancing it, so I don't need to. But Thinkific today is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just a course platform. It's not a website, and these one-size-fits-all things, are never that good. But Thinkific is fantastic. And they're actually Vancouver-based, which is my home city. So,
okay.
Not that I'm biased, but yeah, I know some good people there.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
it's just natural, just a natural thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And what we've done before is we've helped people build their email. We've helped them build their course. We've helped them launch the course, all the different modules. I mean, that's in our titanium $45,000 package. All of that is literally white glove. You get everything. All you have to do is show up and speak, and we take care of the rest. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they need and want. We only do 2 at a time. So you get a lot of me, you get a lot of Lindsay, you get some of Susan, and then you get your own project manager, be it Aaron, Paige, or Arnhem in my team. And they work with you on a weekly basis, creating your social media posts, helping you edit the videos, sub caption the videos for closed captions at the bottom of each of the videos. And we do all of that for a season. And then we ideally help you train somebody locally who could come in and work with you and do all that for you. Or we can take it on and we can do it as a done for you. But I often find it at this point, once everything's built and you can have, especially if someone was local, James, who could literally come to your house or jump on Zoom with you from the... People think, the Philippines is the answer to everything for VAs. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. They don't get the North American culture as much. And there's a lot of nuances that they just wouldn't pick up on. So I do like to pick somebody local, ideally East Coast local.
Yeah.
Because the time zone makes a difference too. And, I might be in blazing sunshine and you've got the most torrential rain going down and you want to be talking about the rain. And I wouldn't be looking out of my window at the same rain that... So, yeah. But anyway, that's way down the road.
So when you say you do it for a season, what is your time frame definition of the word?
Oh, that's the 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. So the whole time that from start to finish while we're working with you, that season, you get everything. And towards month 4, you'll have everything will be up and running at that point, and then we can just see if it's a fit. Typically, the cost, depending on what we're creating, from blogs to social media to video, but it comes in at around $2,500 a month. And truthfully, for that same kind of money, you could have somebody come to your home office and get 10 times more hours than we could give you. It's good to get it all set up and get it done super professionally. And I'm just being honest. I mean, you can do it a lot cheaper once it's built. But we have 25 done for you clients, and they are very happy paying us that kind of money every month because it's done. And a number of them are sassies and former sassies. I'm fine with that too, but it's not
right. Well, the deal on all of this, it all has to do with cash flow.
Of course it does.
If you're doing 300 or 500,000, 2,500 a month is, there's no big deal.
No, for sure.
Obviously, as you said, having been in business for 6 weeks myself, I understand that, maybe here, because you have your overhead, and I understand,
of course,
margin and profit and all that stuff.
Yep. And you know what it looks like to invest in courses, and it's a fast track to getting the ideas going. What I find is that, as I said, the course sometimes isn't enough. You need someone to actually not only walk alongside you, but do it for you. And it's always about how much time and money, right? If you have more time than money, you'll do more yourself. If you have more money than time, you'll pay someone.
Right.
But like the lady I spoke to last week, I can't name her, in Sassy. I mean, she's been in Sassy nearly a year, learned everything, and has nothing to show for it online. I get it. I've showed up at every class. I understand. I think I've got my speak to sell talk nailed. I've done some practice strategy sessions. People like it. I haven't made any money out of this yet.
Yeah.
She said, I thought by the end of it, I'd be in a different place. And that's not what Lisa offers. Lisa doesn't say, do it and it will make you money. It's like, I will give you the tools and show you how to use it, but I'm not going to do it for you.
Right.
And that's...
Well, I think she's doing a portion with that, with her diamond and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely, she is. Yes.
She holds more hand. The whole point is, with her setup is, and Mary Morrissey does the same thing. It's getting out, in their kink in the hose versus what you do is getting in front of a public setup and doing a strategy session.
Yes.
So instead of emails and blogs and they're there, okay, and I get your name and I call you and we do the free strategy session and that's their marketing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's their marketing.
And I'm not the hard sales kind of guy, as you know. If people need us and they want us, they'll hire us, and if they don't, I'm good with that too. Yeah.
Right. And that's the way to be. I mean, it's the same. Fortunately, I'm at the same setup, and so it's just a matter where I'm at. As the old saying goes, full disclosure, I'm in information data collection.
Absolutely.
So I can, I'm finding the pieces of the puzzle. I know where my kink is. Is that, well, how much do I want to spend to unkink it?
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly where I'm at.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I joined Lisa's program. My business had been in the 300,000 for about 4 years. I couldn't really grow any more than that because I only had so much time,
Right.
and I could only leverage myself.
Right.
Now I'm in the $1.2, $1.3 million sales, and I have been for the last 2 years. And if anything, I'm working less. I'm putting in the same amount of hours, but I'm not physically writing and coding and creating. I'm doing exactly this.
Right.
And I've hired other people. So, am I making a lot more money than I was 4 years ago? No, I was actually doing very well 4 years ago, but now I've got a leverage model, but I've got 5 people working for me. So I can help a lot more people.
Right.
And sure, I mean, I have a much bigger asset to ever if I ever wanted to sell it or something. But I've learned to leverage my time and help a lot more people rather than just working in British Columbia and helping one business after the next, which is all I was doing. So,
right.
And I love,
and that's what I have. What my setup is on this, Jonathan. This is my retirement business hobby.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and I just was able to frame that. I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, because I had a different mindset and it was stupid. It was driving me crazy. So the key is for me, the Lisa program has been phenomenal because I got my 5 different stages set up. I got my platinum, my gold, my silver, my ruby, blah, 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 blah. The bottom 3 is all automated. And it the value of time for me, I figured out for 40 years, I did 80+ hour weeks for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So from the time I started, I bought my first paper route at 11. So I calculated the number of 40-hour weeks up until now, and I've kind of kined the last 5 years, but I got 106 years of 40-hour weeks. Now, let's just say that, if they're worth, well, I could easily monetize that very easily. If I did that at $50 a year, that'd be like $530,000. Okay, and then behind that, priceless. So the things I've forgotten. When we did the I said to one of the Lisa's coaches, we got to download 54 years here, 54 years of broadcasting experience. And so, I've got stickies, all over the place.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's very, very interesting. My key is, okay, well, where do I want to go, and how much do I want to spend on kink the hose?
Yes.
And as everything else, we can only do that by finding out what is available.
Absolutely, yeah. I have a 9 o'clock, so I just got to be conscious of my timing. I'm going to send you a copy of this video, so you got that. I'll put some quick tips on a few things that would help you get a few fixes in the machine. I'll send you a couple of links to some of the sites that we've built and the programs, and you can have a look at what they look like. And if you want to do another call to ask any more questions or whatever, I'd be honored to do that with you, sir.
Well, thank you. And if you can just give me a little bit more breakdown on the other steps that you went through here.
Sure thing.
That would be helpful. Yep. I get the full blown 45 grand. Okay. I get that. All right. And at this point, I just don't know if I'm there.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Yeah. And you'd be joining a line. You'd be joining a line too. Because we couldn't start today anyway. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
No, I'll give you the steps.
I'll let you rock and roll to your next thing. always great chatting with you, Jonathan.
Absolutely is. Yes. Yes.
You know, and we'll talk soon. I'll look forward to getting your information. And as with everything, we'll make believe we know what we're doing.
Bless you.
Thanks.
Great day.
Have a good one, man.
Bye,
Take
James.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.